Hey, welcome everyone. Pat Mitchell here with Tricktrades, and welcome to the Facebook group live. We are going to be discussing technical analysis as well as a little bit of an introduction to myself. And if you stay tuned towards the end, which this should run about, I don't know, about 30 to 40 minutes, we're going to have a link for you guys to our new webinar. It's a new refreshed webinar, all brand new, fresh content, free for you guys to come check out, especially if you are interested in joining Tricktrades. But just first of all, I might as well do a quick introduction. I know a lot of you here are from the room and know who I am, but I'm sure that there's some of you here that simply don't know who the fuck I am and who is this guy talking to me. So I'm Pat Mitchell. I am a day trader. I run Tricktrades.com. I am the head trader there. I also have a great team of people working with us to help you guys. But before I became a day trader, I've been trading for almost a decade now and professionally for quite some time. And before that, I was a welder and I owned and operated my own welding contract business. I was a rig welder, and a rig welder has a truck, and in the back of the truck is a fully mobile unit. So I used to work up in northern Alberta, Canada, which if you look on a map, it is way north. And although I did enjoy my job, I've always liked building things, working with my hands. It simply just wasn't working out. I could see the direction that the oil field was starting to take and not something I was interested in. Plus, I noticed because wages were through the roof, it really attracted the wrong people getting into the industry, not because they enjoyed working with their hands. They were just there to collect a paycheck. And there's nothing worse in life than working with people that just want to collect a paycheck. And that translates into day trading as well. But so with that, I started to notice that, you know, a lot of the people that I had to take orders from, especially with quality control, QC, and safety, they were people that they had no business being there at all. They've probably never held a wrench or anything in their hands their entire lives. And now they're trying to dictate people that have been in the industry for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, how to do their jobs. And it was driving me nuts. It was driving me nuts to the point where I started to really hate my job. So I needed a way out. I think a lot of people can relate, whether you're a tradesperson or a professional in any capacity, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, in business of any kind, insurance salesman, real estate, whatever you're in, it always boils down to the people that you are working with. And it's horrible working for people and with people that don't give a shit, don't want to be there, and all of the above. It really becomes it becomes a grind. And anything in life, like it really is too short to be dealing with a grind. So like I said, I needed a way out. And years and years and years ago, when I first started looking into this, I was married, and my ex-wife, that's one of the reasons why she is my ex. Now, I'm not saying everyone's got to leave their wife because they don't approve of you getting into day trading, but it worked out for me. I couldn't be with someone that wouldn't support my dreams, my goals, my aspirations. I am selfish that way, and I got no problems admitting that. And I knew, had I stuck around, I would have been absolutely stuck, absolutely stuck. And there's nothing worse in life than having that stuck feeling. Now, I know there's a lot of you that can relate to that, a lot of you. It's a horrible feeling. You feel like there's got to be something more to life than trying to making someone else rich, right? Like, why not try and make that money on your own? And this is where a lot of people have a hard time. It's that first hurdle, right? That first hurdle of getting into trading is getting over the mindset of not knowing when your next paycheck is coming. That's why people work 9 to 5 jobs. It's not just because they chose a certain career path. It's that safety and consistency. Hold on a sec. I just kind of froze up. One sec here, guys. Boom, 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 boom. That's all right. I'll just go into the screen. That's all right. I'm sure you guys don't want to stare at my ugly mug anyways. So like I was saying, you know, with not knowing where your next paycheck is coming, that's kind of like the first hurdle when it comes to getting into trading. It's the uncertainty. But if you're going to get into this, you got to trust yourself. You have to believe in yourself at some point, right? Like you really got to go, all in on yourself. And before we start diving into technicals, to kind of wrap this introduction up, that is one of my, I guess, I'm very grateful that I've always believed in myself, and anything I've wanted to do, anything I've ever really been interested in and really taken a liking to, I've always been able to do it well. Anything worth doing in life, like anything you do in life, I don't even care if you bag groceries. I don't care what you do. If you are a sweater folder at the Gap, you better fold those fucking sweaters better than anyone else. That is the path you've chosen, right? So if you're going to get into trading, why not give yourself the best foot forward, learn from a guy that can actually get you going? So I think tonight, I know I've asked you guys to have some questions prepared for this, but let's just, what I would like to do is to, you know, point out what we did here on Friday, just to give you a little background. And then I'm actually going to show you guys, since you showed up, I'm going to show you how to plot these levels. That's what our triggers are. That's where we buy and that's where we sell. So I think we're going to build a watch list. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. I'm not going to leave anything out. We're going to dissect these daily charts together. But for those that are very, very new, let's just give a very quick rundown of what we're looking at on our screens. So this is what you see, plus some news on the side. It's usually compressed a little bit, and then we have news on the side. But this is what exactly Tricktrades members see live on screen share every day. And you will see that we have an upper level and a lower level. These black charts are charts of the 1 minute price action. So if I zoom in, this candle here, it was 1 minute of price action. This one here was 1 minute of price action. Okay. Now the gray areas are pre-market and after hours trading. The dark black is live market hours. Now you will see to the left or to the right of these black charts are blue charts. Each one of these candles represents 1 full day's worth of action. So all of this action here is represented in this one candle. Now we use these blue charts, okay, the daily chart, to come up with our levels. And I'm going to explain why. Let's go into the daily chart first, okay? So this is the daily chart. Each one of these candles, like I said, represents a 1 full day, 1 full day's duration, okay? So this is where we find our support and resistance levels. And support and resistance means exactly that, support and or resistance. So basically, these are areas where big institutional traders, banks, hedge funds, even algorithms, so computer traders, the computer that's doing the trading for these institutions, that's where they trigger buy and sell orders. And there's a reason for that. Although these charts might look very random to a new trader, they're not. They're actually the complete opposite of random. Now, sometimes coming into the level, it might dip below the level a little bit, but that's due to manipulation. And that's a whole nother class that we can do at another time. I can go over that because it's actually quite interesting, because people love to say how manipulated the stock market is. Well, if we know it's manipulated, why not learn how to wield that to your advantage? And that's what we do as well at Tricktrades. So before we start drawing out a new watch list for you, let's quickly head back into what we were watching on Friday. And let's go over, now I have not touched these levels since I've shut these down on Friday, okay? So these levels have not moved. I have not moved these. These levels were placed in the gray area prior to the market even opening. And if you take a look, each one of these is triggered almost beautifully to the absolute penny. A lot of people like to say when they see something this accurate, because this isn't anything special. This just happens to be Friday's price action and Friday's levels that we used. Okay. And again, you'll see first thing in the morning, these things trigger absolutely beautifully. Now, these levels, again, like I've said over and over, this is where we buy or we go short. So going short is a way to capitalize on the market if it wants to come down on the day or a short period of time. Facebook is a good example of the short. I'm going to blow this one up quickly because then you guys will understand exactly what we're doing. Now, you may see that it ended up holding, coming higher, and the better trade was the long, to buy the stock in hopes of it going higher, correct? That's what it looks like. That is not the strategy though. And that is looking at things in a very hindsight respect. You're looking at things after the fact, because bottom line is we do not know what direction these stocks are going to go on the whole day. There's a lot of variables. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of moving pieces to markets. We look to capitalize within the first 30 minutes to an hour of the market. And that's all we look. I do not care where these stocks go afterwards. It is irrelevant. Why? Because I have a fantastic fucking life that I love to enjoy. I do not want to be a slave to the market. I have no interest in sticking around and working a 9-to-5 job while I am working for myself. And you shouldn't either. It would be like saying, hey guys, I'm going to give you an example here. If you walked into work, wherever you work right now, and your boss came up to you and said, hey, look, Joe, I'm going to tell you what. After 15 minutes from the time you punch in, you can go home with a full day's wage. What are you going to do? Are you going to say, perfect, and take it? Or are you going to be, no, Dan, that's fine. I'll just stick around all day. Why would you do that? That would be insane. And it's the same thing with the market. If you have the ability to replace your daily income within 15, 20, 30 minutes to an hour, why wouldn't you just get the hell out? And that's why a lot of traders fail, because they take that first trade, they've made money on the day, but we're so programmed. We're so programmed to stick around for, 5 to 10 hours on a work day. Like that's ingrained in us. Like that's almost some like Neanderthal shit. Like for whatever reason, we are programmed to put in a full day's work. Okay. We don't need to. And that's probably the secondary hurdle as a new trader coming into the markets. You feel like you owe the market to stick around all day. Well, I gotta hate to break it to you, but the market does not know that you exist. Doesn't care. Doesn't know your name. Doesn't give a shit about you. And the longer you stick around, you're giving the market an opportunity to know your name and to know that you exist. You don't want that. You want to come in, sneak in, grab the bag, and get the fuck out. That's what you want to do. So with all that said, I know that was pretty long talking about Facebook ripping higher, but I like to put things into perspective for you. Our level to go short and our trade plan was on Facebook, if at the market open, our first directional pick is up into the upper level, we will take it short coming into that level. And if at the market open, we sell off, we come down into this lower level of 326.48, we will go long coming into that level. First directional pick was up, we go short into the level. Now, the beautiful thing about working with a professional, I told my members live on screen share to be very fast on Facebook because it's probably going to head higher. And there's a reason why it's heading higher on the daily chart. We can talk about that later if we have time. This was actually, we kind of had a feeling this thing was going to go higher. If the market was going to prove strength and be strong, Facebook would go higher. Now, one could argue you could look for the long instead of the short. You could, that's fine. Some members actually took the long here on this setup, which is called a higher low. You got a low here and this low is higher. There is a way to get involved with it. But as the trick trade strategy dictates, first directional pick with speed and distance into level, you take the trade. Although this doesn't look like much, I'll tell you what, from your entry down to lows is 1 3/4 points. Now, since we trade options, don't get freaked out about options. We trade them very differently, very caveman simple. This is, now for some of you that took this trade, maybe you could help me out with that. This was at least 30% return on investment within 1, 2, 3 minutes. That's 3 minutes. You're making returns that people wait all year to get in the market. That's pretty fucking fantastic. And that's one that didn't have follow through. If you take a look here, Apple, sky's the limit on this one. Huge day on this, right into the level, multiple opportunities. Same with the Qs. Now, some of you may look at this level and say, well, it broke this level though, Pat. Wouldn't you get out? No, because we have a risk strategy called standard risk. And we put up risk boxes, and each one of these boxes, standard risk is different for every stock that we trade. This isn't a standard stop out strategy, folks. This is something that I have put my heart and soul into for the past 10 years, developing, looking at these charts, understanding where market makers, the ones that run the market, like to try and stop people out. Standard risk is something that really needs to be seen to be appreciated. It is not a standard basic bitch stop out strategy. This is something different. It is extremely simple, but it works. It may break this level, but in order for it to break standard risk, you're looking at maybe 15% of the time that it breaks the level, comes all the way down into standard risk, it breaks standard risk, and then you have to stop out. It is a controlled loss, and it only happens 10 to 15% of the time, which is nothing. Not when we are hitting trades like this for an average hit rate of 80 to 90%. And that's facts. So that is the overall how we trade every day, guys. This is what we do. There's no smoke and mirrors here. There's no bullshit. So now let's go over, does anybody have any questions so far? If anybody has any questions, we'll just give it a minute and see if you guys type in a question. I'm going to give it another 10 seconds, see if anyone puts in, just to keep the flow going. Yeah, people, Chris is writing here. Dr. Chris is writing. People often ask, how do you trust the levels? Well, let me explain what these levels actually represent. Now, you can obviously see our technical analysis, although this is only 1 day's worth of action. All the members in here can absolutely attest to the fact that this happens literally every single day. This is what you see and what you get every day. No bullshit, no sales tactics, no lies. That's what you get. This is what happens every day. So our technical analysis is so on point at Tricktrades, and this is what I teach you guys, because these levels are all levels that the smart money would use. Now, in this webinar that I'm gonna give you guys a link to at the end, we'll explain it a little bit more thoroughly. But these levels are like brick walls. You will absolutely get a reaction into these levels, meaning it will bounce or reject that level. Now, it might not have a bunch of follow through, but you can see here. But even when it doesn't have follow through, meaning it doesn't keep going in the direction you wanted it to, you'll be able to pull your profit easily. We have a very specific profit taking strategy that I teach you guys how to pull these profits, how to pay yourself on the trade. Nothing is left out at Tricktrades. These levels, again, are like brick walls, and these are the areas that you will have the smart money buying. That's where they buy and that's where they sell. And that is through experience. I know where exactly the algorithms will be set, as well as institutional traders are going to buy. That is what I teach you guys. I teach you guys how to trade exactly like the smart money. Okay? You can absolutely trust these levels. And even if it comes down lower, okay? Like I pointed out, you have our risk strategy, and I do not care if it breaks the level and does bloody backflips. I don't care what it does inside of this until it breaks with confirmation. You stop out. And again, this right here only happens 10 to 15% of the time, not on every trade, but the times it breaks the level. So you're looking at cutting this into like a quarter or a fifth or an eighth of actually how often you would get stopped out on standard risk. It is rare. It is extremely rare that you will actually hold through standard risk and have it break. So yes, you can absolutely trust these levels and put your faith in them. So I'm just going to scroll through, make sure I'm not. Yes, actually, Jackson made a good note here. All levels have been archived for the past 2 years, guys. If you follow Tricktrades archives, and Jackson will post the handles right there, go join that, and you can have access to every one of our trade plans for the last 2 years, and you will see how accurate. Now, again, when you go and you take a look at them, don't look at where they keep going. Look at that first reaction into the level and look how much you could have made on each and every one of these trades. Because like I pointed out on Facebook, although it did come higher, this was still an opportunity to capture just under 2 points per share and roughly equating to anywhere between 20 and 30, 40% on this trade. It really is an amazing strategy. But now what I would like to do, guys, one sec. We've got a question here. This is off topic of levels, but the thing I have been struggling with is figuring out what programs I need to get started. What are softwares that I will need to get started day trading? That is what I recommend. get yourself TC2000, and Jackson will post a link to that. And actually you can save $1 on that. TC2000, which are these charts right here. And it's relatively inexpensive too. You need TC2000 Gold. It is the middle tier software, and live data. That will come out to $40 a month. That is your best bet. Trading View is another option you can go with, but you cannot put up 8 charts like this on one screen. You can, but you can't compress them like this, like I'm doing right now. So to have the daily chart next to your intraday chart like this is an absolute must. So go with TC2000. And then as for brokerages, I highly recommend you go with Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers, there's a reason why I use it. It is hands down the best, fastest executions with the best commissions you are going to find. Do not use free brokers like Webull, Robinhood, any of that. Free is the most expensive word on this planet. You will pay one way or another, folks. Don't do it. We have so many members that have fought me for so long and they stuck around with Thinkorswim, TOS, TD Ameritrade, after they went to free, and they kept getting fucked on commissions constantly, or sorry, on slippage. They were always red when we were green on trades. Don't do it. Don't go with free. TOS is Thinkorswim. You don't need it. Don't worry about it. Stay away from it. Go with Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers is a professional brokerage that even hedge funds use. It will be the brokerage that I will be launching my hedge fund through. That's how much I trust it. So what I would like to do now, guys, because we're already running into a half an hour here and I don't want to keep you guys all evening. Let's go over let's build a watch list. You guys want to do that? So if you pay attention here, you guys are about to get access to our basket of stocks. These are all the stocks we trade. This is it. And some of you may be looking, well, I can't afford to trade Amazon and Apple and AMD and Nvidia. They're hundreds of dollars a share. Don't worry about it. We trade options. If you want to trade SPY, S&P 500 ETF, which we trade all the time, its price point is $467.27 a share. Do you know what we pay for 100 shares of SPY? $1. And it works out to be $100 of buying power. That's it. And that's 100 shares equivalent. And we trade options the exact same way you would trade stocks. You don't need to know anything crazy. All right. So let's build out this watch list. I start with the SPY first. So firstly, I need to pull up, one sec, what the futures markets are doing right now. So hang tight. So let's take a look at what we're doing. So this is the market. It's live right now. Okay. We are live right now. So I look here, we are gapping up, meaning we are going to open up higher than what we closed on. But if you look, the S&P 500 futures is $6 per share above. That equates to 60 cents on the SPY. Again, we can go over that in another webinar, guys, but we know that we are gapping up. So on SPY, since we've had a top, it's pulled back, held the moving averages, starting to come up. In tomorrow morning session, we are going to watch for a pullback because it's going to gap up, right? So far, that's what it's looking like. We're going to open up somewhere in this neighborhood. When we open, we will be looking. We open here, we look for a pullback into this level or a bounce. Now, I'm willing to bet we are only going to come to here and we will reject. And from there, either it holds this and comes back up or it falls apart and fails. But tomorrow, I would be looking for a green morning, meaning a bounce off of 467.27 for the long. That's what I'm looking for. So as it stands right now, these are our levels that I'm looking for on SPY. So short, 469.57, long, 467.27. Now you'll have to keep in mind, if you rewatch this tomorrow, these levels might be tweaked a little bit depending on how we open up. Okay, guys? In the pre-market trading, during the pre-market plan of attack that I hold every morning at 9 a.m., I tweak, just slightly tweak these levels. And then the market opens and we trade the levels. So just keep that in mind. Now let's go through the SPY here, SPY. We mark these levels up every single day, every day, without failure. We have to. This is the market, and we watch the market. Now we go through the rest of the basket and see what's shaping up the best. So Facebook is very extended. Now, I don't think I'm going to watch this one tomorrow, but what I want you guys to see, just to show you how accurate I am, you are going to have a day that will look like this. I call this the mini red or mini green consolidation day. That's what it's going to look like, guys. Now you can check back tomorrow and that's what it's going to be. 9 times out of 10, this is what you'll have after a big green day. Okay. But again, we're not overly interested in Facebook because it's had such an extended push. If I was going to mark out a level, I would watch this area short. First line of defense right here. You also have previous range and previous range. This 345 area looks pretty good. And then I would watch a pre-market low area somewhere in here. It'll probably be somewhere in here. Again, we would have to tweak that pre-market, okay? But you get an idea of what I would be looking for. But let's keep going. We're not trading Netflix because Netflix is a high flyer and can damage new traders. Again, really, really big day. Now on MU, what I would watch for, I'll add it to the watch list, but I would be watching, oops, I got to erase the rest. Sorry, guys. If and only if we test this red line, that is the 200 SMA, it's a moving average. Don't worry about it. It's fine if you don't know what those are. I would be watching that. So I'll add this as a back burner play. That if it happens to come all the way up into this 80 level, I would hit it short for a quick scalp. And if you look left, what would happen if it breaks this level even by a little bit? So if it comes up and it wants to push even just a hair higher, you know where it's going to go and finally tap out 100% right there. These are called gaps, and they're very important. It will come in and fill the gap. And if it hits 80.21, I would hit that with size. That would be a conviction play. Here, I would hit with, normal size. Here, I'd be in big. That's what I'd be looking for. JD is a Chinese stock. Right now, China stocks are very, very back and forth. Okay. And it's very extended on 2 days green with big days. I don't like my odds on that one. Let's move on to Apple. Apple is beautiful. I love this. So we are going to watch. You see this moving average congestion? You got the 9, you got the 20, and you got the 5 right there. Those are 3 brick walls plus this day's highs, plus this previous breakout area. Look left. This is excuse me, ladies, a motherfucking brick wall, a steel reinforced brick wall. If we open above, we will look for a pullback into 149.57 for the long. Love Apple. That will be a main watch coming into tomorrow morning. Moving on. Microsoft is very interesting. Very interesting. Now, I don't like messing around too much with breakouts and breakout levels, but because of the strength in this, if the market shows strength, I would need it down here as a fake sell-off, holding this level to push higher. I might come back to this one and add it. We'll see what else is on the list. AMD is creating a bear flag. It is the way this is moving up. It's almost like a channel. Let me erase this and show you guys something. So you see how it's like following this trend. It's an upward wedge, but it's also kind of like in a channel here. It's heading into the gap fill and it filled that gap. Okay. Now, if we were gapping down a little bit, so in the morning, if we, instead of gapping up, gap down, I would be looking for this, a dip into 146.47, and you could take it long, but only up to here into 148.92. And then you could reverse your position. So sell that long position fully out and go short into this. It could come as high though as 149.68 coming into trend. Okay. But that's what I would be watching. I will add this, but for Tricktrades members, I'm gonna obviously go over this way more in detail because there are some subtleties here. So we went over SPY. Let's check out Twitter. Twitter's interesting. It really had a chance to head north, and then it sold off again. Sometimes what happens after they break a level of support, like if you take a look, like Twitter is coming down into major support here. Okay, so on something like this, I'm going to mark this major support, but I will also watch this. And if it holds this level, there is an opportunity for this week for it to test this 9 EMA or higher. If it breaks this level, wait all day, if not to the next day, and execute 49.33. So this is interesting. This is something I will definitely be watching for this upcoming week. I'm going to add it to the list and then tweak that hyperscan. Let's keep going. Ooh. This is beautiful. This is what dreams are made of, guys. So a lot of people, to go off on a little side note here, I can remember when I first got into trading, I would always ask myself, how the fuck do these guys get in on these trades? Like, how do they know when to buy? Right here. This is how you know when to buy. You see this level of support? It's not a perfect level, is it? I'm going to mark out all the levels of support to just show you guys something. Okay, so this, you see how this level here touches in multiple areas. So from 225.28, your next level down is 223. SQ has a very wide standard risk. This thing, although it's only a $230 stock, is an animal. It's a beast. Look at these days. Look at these days, man. They're huge. Like that is almost 20 points per share. right? Even on green days, look where it comes into this level, right before that level, boom, rockets up. And that is probably 15 points, 12 points. Because this is right on support like this, I am absolutely going to be patient and wait for this. I will not take it into the level. I will execute on confirmation. Now, confirmation, market opens up, we dip. You don't want to take it here because it's very uncertain. You see how many red days there are in a row? That creates uncertainty. Now you have to ask yourself, maybe with your small account, you might be willing to bet $1,000 that it will come into this level and bounce, right? Sure, that's fine. It's only $1,000. But what would you do if you had millions of dollars? So smart money, what would you do? Would you take it right smack dab into that level, or would you wait for it to see what the masses are doing and confirm strength with a double bottom? So a double bottom or a higher low. You need something to risk off of. This here, mark my words, tomorrow morning will not only produce a double bottom, but it will test and retest and test again. And once it starts edging up like that, that's where you get in, because you're going to have so many late short sellers jumping in, and they will get squeezed as soon as it breaks this. If that level breaks, this thing will rocket and you'll get these big days. Maybe not that big of a day, but that's how big days happen. A lot of people think that markets go up due to people buying. No, not really. It's more so has to do with shorts getting squeezed and market makers squeezing those shorts. But anyways, I would definitely add SQ to the list. Now, NVIDIA is also a high flyer. It's something I don't recommend new traders trading. We do have members that do trade it because they're highly skilled, badass, fire-breathing motherfucking dragons that know what they're doing. But I would recommend the majority of you stay away. Intel, this is starting to get interesting as well, okay? So this is actually a level I've been waiting for it to come down, but it is coming into that gap fill. There's a little gap fill, okay? So on Intel would be worth noting, and I'd watch that gap. It's already filled the gap, so if it opens above, it'll most likely hold. It will be a small day. It will not be a big day. It will be only a small day, but it would most likely be more than enough to capitalize. Look what it does every single day. Every single day, it touches this gray dashed line. That is the 20 SMA. So you know, if it holds this, it's most likely going to test this 20, which would be about here tomorrow. So it's a small trade, but the trade is there. It's definitely worth noting. BABA could be interesting. It needs to get over that brick wall of the 20, but with the gap up, come on, erase. There we go. I would watch previous close for a hold so we can add it to the list. Now you're starting to see, we're starting to get a lot of, this is too many, guys. It's too many to watch in one morning, but that's all right. We're just building out our watch list. Disney, not interested. Tesla, not interested. He's talking about selling more stock. Stay away from fucking Tesla, guys. Leave it alone. It ain't worth it. So those are the trades I would be willing to watch in the morning. There's 6 of them and it needs to get narrowed down. Okay. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to narrow these down and I still need to actually do the actual hyperscan, but these will be the stocks and the plays that we will watch tomorrow. So I know that for some of you, that might have been a little bit over your heads. Okay. I get it. It's fine. Stuff like that. I promise you will, you're going to catch on. All right. You'll catch on. That's what education is for. That's why we're here. All right. So don't get thrown off if you didn't understand each and every word that I said here tonight. But I'm happy you guys joined me. Jackson's gonna, Tino's already posted the link, that link right there. Copy that link and go watch that webinar, guys. I just recorded it yesterday. It's brand new. If you've seen our first webinar, there's tons of great information. This is a brand new webinar full of brand new content. I actually literally show you guys the full trick trade strategy in this webinar. No joke, no bullshit, not holding anything back. I will show you exactly how we take these trades. So are there any questions here before I rock and roll? So Misha's asking, hey, Pat, can you offer advice on increasing average wins to be bigger than losses? Well, that's going to come through sizing up over time. I think a lot of the problem is people get, and it also has to do with lack of patience in the position. So you need to get confidence and just produce those wins first. Get those wins under your belt. Get that confidence, and then you can size up. Because through sizing up, the way you have to pull your profit, let's say you're trading with 1 or 2 or 3 contracts, you need to pay yourself on those pushes, right? So once you run out of bullets, you run out of bullets, period. That's it. Trade's over. There's only so much you can do when you're trading process. When you trade the process correctly, in order to start making more money, you need to size up. But you can only size up if you're ready to size up. This is the one thing so many traders have a problem with. You can't just size up whenever you want because you want to make more money type of a thing. And I know that's not what you're asking. I'm just saying because there are people that think that way. You can't. You're completely at the mercy of your confidence level. You need to have your emotions under control. If you do not have emotions under control, you will not be able to handle that size and you will start losing more. You can't do that. Confidence, process over time. It simply takes time because the more contracts you have, the bigger your position is, right? The longer you're able to peel out and scale out. Instead of if you have, okay, right here, this is one contract, you enter. You got to pay yourself on that first push. Trade's over, right? Now your target's here, right? That's where that trade is going to. Why? How do we know that? Because there's a level up there. So with 2 contracts, you go to here. 3 contracts, you go to here. 4 contracts, you go to here. Picking up what I'm laying down. That's all you can do. It's about sizing up. You have to size up. Kimberly asks, do you have a class or instruction about how to get approved to trade options with your broker? I talk about that in the bones section. So we have a section at tricktrades.com. Once you join and sign up, it's called the bones. And the bones, shit, it did it again. Hold on. Sorry, guys. So we have a bones section. It is a beginner section of the website where it goes through what brokers to use and this and that. But you don't need to join for me to answer that question. I'll just answer that question. So in order to get approved to trade options, you need, wink, wink, you need, nudge, nudge, 2 years plus of experience or no broker will approve you. So with that said, and I'm going to let you in on something, it's not like they fucking check your broker statements or trading history, do they? Guess what, guys? You can be whoever you want online, can't you? We've seen it done. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You have 2 years of experience trading options, right? And you are also only looking to trade single leg, straight puts or calls. You are not, you're only looking to buy puts and buy calls. You are not looking to sell puts and sell calls. Got it? Hopefully you wrote that down, because that's the answer to your question. So we got another question here. How much money will I need in my broker account to start trading? If I don't have a lot of money, what is a good small amount to start with my broker account? I like to tell people to start with a couple of grand. You can start with less, but here's the thing, guys. What I would recommend if you have a limited amount of capital, and we've all been there, get educated first. There's no reason why you can't start the educational process now and start executing on a demo or paper account. In fact, I don't even like new traders. Like if you were to sign up tomorrow, I don't want you to start trading tomorrow. I want you to go through the education. I want you to see how we trade these stocks. I want you to catch the flow of the room first. That's what I want you to do. I don't want you to trade instantly. So why not start today? Quit waiting around to fund your account and to make sure, oh, do I have enough money to trade? You don't need to trade right now. Start the educational process, because it is a process. Okay? It's a process, guys. So that's what I would recommend doing. Get educated first. Get educated. That's what you got to do. Okay. But again, to answer your question, a couple of grand, 2,500 bucks, something like that. You need to be able to have enough where you are not going to be so emotionally attached to those losses, you won't be able to execute the trade. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to scroll through these. If I subscribe to you, do I need to get TC2000 or will I be able to trade off your screen share? No, you got to get your own charts. What I would recommend also, like you can come in and watch for a while without having to get your own charts. You can do that because screen share is up all day long. So you can watch exactly what we're watching. However, if you're going to actually be executing a trade, you need to have your own charts. Have to. There's no way around that, guys. Okay. You got to be able to plot these levels yourself, go through all of this. But, just to touch on this, I understand, especially with what's happened over the past couple of years, which it's crazy to fucking say this shit's been going on for a couple of years. I know money's tight all over, but I think we've all reached a point and are at the realization that we need a better way to find a better way to make money. Now, if you do join, and this goes to anyone, you have to be patient. You have to be willing to put in the work. I'm not going to tell you you're going to make $1 million. I'm not going to tell you you're going to be instantly profitable. That's a pipe dream, guys. Anyone that tells you that, they're full of fucking shit. They're lying to you, man. That's straight up. This takes time. This is like being retrained for any other profession that's out there. Like if you were to retrain to become a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, insurance salesman, a real estate agent, there is a certain amount of time that you need to go through. That would be like being on being first year med student, literally on week 1. And you, because you're in a rush to make money and you want that surge in money, you kick the fucking doors open to the OR and say, yo, woman, throw me a scalpel. That ain't gonna fly, is it? It's the same thing. You got to be real patient. But even with that said, don't get freaked out thinking like you can't earn as you learn. That's why I like to refer to this at more so as an apprenticeship than anything. Because when I was a first year welder, I still got a certain percentage of a journeyman's wage. And then second year, I made a little bit more. And third year, I made a little bit more. It's the same thing with this. It just takes a little bit of time, guys. Just don't be in a rush. I know we all want to make that money. I know we do. That's why we're trying to do this. We're trying to make money. We're trying to achieve freedom. But you got to take your time, guys. I'm not going to bullshit you and I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to do that. Leave that shit for the other guys to lie to you. I don't want to lie to you. But I'm telling you, if you stick with it, you grind her out. You do exactly what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it. You'll fucking kill it. You'll change your life, guys. I'm a regular guy. I believe there's a guy in this webinar right now, Curtis. I used to work with him when I was a welder way back. Right? I'm sure he could say, I'm a regular fucking guy. I'm a spitting, swearing, fighting, drinking welder. And I'm here living in fucking paradise, man. Not that far in the future. That wasn't that long ago. It's doable, guys. And I know it can seem like people love, and I know I'm getting a little sidetracked here and I'm trying to wrap this up. Sorry, guys, but it's like, man, I really want to hammer this home. People see the guy they're listening to in the webinar and they put him up on this fucking pedestal way up here. They think it's so unattainable, unachievable because you're down here. Well, you're not. Do you know how close this distance is? If you really understood how close that is, and a lot of it is, it's just up here. It's just mentality. It's not even the technicals. It's not even the charts I showed you. It's just this. And it's not intelligence. It's just this. It's mentality. It's how you're wired. And that's what we focus on at Tricktrades. And that's why we have such an insane success rate for our members. That's why, because that's what we focus on. We focus on the shit that actually matters. Will these videos ever be in Spanish? I tried that. It's so hard to get people that are actually not out to, look to open up their own shop. I mean, I'm sure we can all remember Moses. Yeah, it's so hard to do stuff like that, guys. It really is. I'm just quickly looking over. I don't want to miss anybody's question. If I missed anybody's question, guys, when I post this live class in the Facebook group, just type in the question there and I'll certainly answer the question, or one of the admins, the moderators, will get the questions answered. Okay. So I'm going to wrap this up because we're about an hour in. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Again, before I shut this down, Jackson or Tino is going to post that link, and there it is. So copy and paste that link, or at least copy and save that link, please, and watch that webinar for those of you that are interested about a little more about the strategy, a little bit more about my story, and we'll check you guys later. So the next one we're going to do here, hopefully we'll get into some other nice tidbits of market information. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Adios. Thanks, guys.